In this Can You Build It? We are going to make a program that will give us an interactive animation. This all came about when your friend asked you a riddle. How can you walk without taking any steps? You didn't stick around to hear the answer because despite being stumped, you ran off to make your own solution. That's right, using your handy microbit. Let's look at some pseudocode. All right, we are learning a new concept today called functions, and the pseudocode will be very useful to help looking into those functions. All right, so right at the start, I want to create a variable to keep track of my x position. I'm going to have a stick figure, and it's going to move to the left or the right depending how I tilt it. And the way I'll know where it is, left or right, will be based on this number. So when it's at 0, it'll be right in the middle. If it's at -1, it moves one direction. If it's +1, it moves the other. If it's +2, it moves even further that way. So I gotta create a variable to keep track of that. And then I want to start my stick figure at that position, which will be the middle. When I tilt left, I want to change my x. That is the placeholder. That's the variable keeping track of my position. And then call my draw function. Now, when you call a function, it goes down to that function and it does whatever in it, then goes back to where it came from. I've got a picture to show that in a minute. So it'll come down here to my draw function. It'll clear the screen. They'll draw the figure at our variable of x, whatever that is. And then it'll come back up. And if I tilt right, it will change my x in a different way, then use the draw function. Come back up. Let's look at a picture. This is a little bit easier way to understand the pseudocode because we got a lot more stuff going on. So right at the start, we're going to make a variable and we're going to call draw. Comes down here, so it takes it down to draw. We're going to clear the screen. We're going to draw our picture at that position x. Then we'll come out of this and we'll go back to waiting. Waiting's not really a block. It's just a placeholder for nothing's happening right now. But while waiting, if you tilt left, we'll come out of here towards tilt left. We will change the x, which is our variable, and call the draw again, which means we come down here to the draw. In the draw, we'll clear the screen and we'll draw our picture at whatever x is now, which was just changed by tilting left. We'll come back out and go to waiting. If you were to tilt right, you'll come out of waiting, you'll tilt right, it'll change the x, which is that variable telling us where to draw the picture, and then call draw. Whew, that sounds very complicated, but I think when we get into the code, it will start to make sense. If you think you can do this, I'd love for you to pause this video. Go ahead, try it out. Try your best. And if you get stuck, come on back, hit play. And for everyone else, let's get started. All right, so I said on my start, I want to make a variable. So let's do that right now. So I'm going to go to variables, and I'm going to create my variable. Now, item is not very useful. It'd be useful if I was keeping track of an item, but I'm not. I'm keeping track of something, my x. It's like in math, the x and y. X is horizontal, y is vertical. I want to keep track of horizontal. So I'm going to name this x, because that'll help me remember what it is. And I'm going to set it to 0. Great. The other thing I want to set right away is what my stick figure looks like. And I'm going to use a different way of doing that. I'm going to store my stick figure in a variable. You'll see why in just a moment. By sticking this guy in a variable, I can call him really easily a whole bunch of times. I'm going to rename this stick dude. All right, but I don't want it to be a number. I want it to be a stick figure. So I'll scroll down, go over to images. If you don't see these, you have to click this advanced. images and create an image. This lets me store this image in StickDude. All right, I'm going to draw my StickDude. Nice. All right. Now, the last thing was that call function. So right now, if you run this, nothing happens. Because we're just sticking StickDude, creating that image and putting it into StickDude. We're not displaying it yet. To display it, I'm going to make my function. So I'm going to click Functions and make a function. And I'm going to call it something easy to help me remember what it's for. I'm going to call it draw, because this is going to be my draw. Here it is. Move it over. I'm going to get rid of it forever. Turns out I don't need it. All right, now in function draw, I want to show that image. So I'm going to click Image, Show Image at offset 0. But this is where I'm going to replace this offset. Let's run the program real quick and see what happens. Nothing will happen because I have not put function. I've not called my function. This won't happen until something calls it. So I come over here, call function. There we go. All right, let's run it. Ooh, I see my problem. Do you? I have not matched my variable to what I really want to show. I have to change image. So it's showing my StickDude. All right, let's go try it again. All right, I've got a StickDude. It seems like a lot of work just to show one image, but watch this. When I change my offset, I can change it to 1. My image, without changing the original, moved over 1. Let's try what a -1 looks like. It moved the other way. Can you guess what will happen when I do -2? Moves over even more. This is how we're going to get our interactivity. We're going to, instead of changing that number, we're going to put a variable there. Because remember, we can change variables. You can't change numbers. 2 is always going to be 2. But x can be anything we say we want it to be. All right. So right now, x is set to 0. So it's showing this image at 0. Cool. Whew. Here we go. This is where we get our interactivity. We need an event to happen. It could be a button press. It could be a tilt. I'm going to do a tilt because I think it's cool. I'm going to go to Input. And I know that shake can also be tilt. All right, so on tilt left, I need to change x. The way I'm going to do that is with variable. I'm going to set, and I want to set x, and I'm going to need some math because I'm either adding or subtracting x. I need my x variable one more time. All right, let's see. Set x to x plus, let's try 1. See what happens. All right, I'm going to go over here. Let's tilt left. Nothing's happening because I'm not calling that draw function. All right, let's call that draw function. I'm going to drag my draw function in. Refresh. Let's see what happens now. Oh, look at that. Every time I tilt left, my guy moves to the left. Cool. I just need to do the opposite of this for a tilt right. I'm going to copy all of these blocks because this is almost exactly what I need. But instead of tilting left, I want to tilt right. All right, so if tilting left, adding x, 1 to x every time, moved it left, I need to do the opposite for tilting right. So instead of adding 1, I'm going to subtract 1. Let's see if it works. Tilt left. Yep. Tilt right. Yep. So the function's really useful here because I could have this repeated here, here, or here. But if this can be a very big, very complicated thing, I could have 100 frames of animation in this function, and rather than copying and pasting those into each one of these, taking a lot of space, making it very hard to read, I can stick it all into a function and only call that function with one block. This is incredibly powerful. All right, I've got one more challenge for you. Do you think that by pressing one of our buttons, A or B, you could cause the stickman to do a split? Wherever they are, if they're over to the left barely on the screen, over to the right barely on the screen, wherever they are, when you press that button, can you make them do the split? If you want to go ahead and give that a try, go ahead and pause right now. That's right. I'm calling for 2 pauses. Pause right now and give it a go. But if you get stuck, come right back because I'm going to show you how to do that right now. All right, this calls for another input. I'm going to go up to input. I'm going to grab button press, bring that out. I'm going to have it be on button press A. Remember how we're storing our stick figure in a variable? And we use variables because they can change? We're now going to use that power. I'm going to drag out a variable, set, and I'm going to set it to stick dude. Because again, stick dudes are drawing. And I'm going to change it. We have to go down to images to show a different image. This will be my one where my stick person is doing their split. Very nicely done. I'm going to have another draw call. I have to call that draw to happen. And we're almost there, but let's test it. All right, move to the left, move to the right. Oop, come on, keep going. All right, one more. And then I'm gonna press A. All right, we have a split. Ugh, but we forgot to make him stand back up. All right, I'm gonna duplicate this stick dude block and change the drawing so our stick person is standing up. And we need one more draw function. See, look at this. Look at all these draw functions we're using. All right, let's try it now. Move to the right. Move to the left. Oh! Our person does it. Wherever they are. If we had done this only by animating using blocks, we would not have been able to move left and right. And we certainly would not have been able to add this animation that stays with our stick figure. I hope you enjoyed this. Can you build it? There was a lot of new stuff in here. We talked about functions. We talked about storing images and variables. I hope it was useful. I hope it gives you some inspiration for some projects of your own.